thank you for coming. We were kind of concerned. There was a bill we didn't think was going to go anywhere. It was a Canfield bill, but it looks like it's got some legs, which is taking the food away from hungry children because they can't pass in school. This is something that's greatly concerned us. It looks like it's got some legs. I hear the governor actually was for it, but was against it and for it. Now I think he's against it again. But I was told he's talked to both sponsors, and those sponsors are still going to move forward with the bill. We find that very disturbing. We think it's causes great concerns. We were encouraged that some of the preachers here in town kind of came forward. I've kind of had a damper on organized religion this year because there's been a lot of things to hurt the poor people, and they've not said anything. But they came up there and said some things. Brought the bread baskets of bread with fish in them, and I think they made their point. And I think some people on their side of the aisle are rethinking this bill now. But it greatly concerns us when you start taking punitive measures against children, especially some of them could have learning disabilities. There's a lot of reasons a child couldn't pass. Ironically, the bill was actually modeled on some other bills that's done in other countries, Brazil being one of them. But the incentive in those countries was to give the people more money if their kids perform in school. And in typical Tennessee GOP fashion, they want to penalize the people for not performing well. So that's greatly disturbed us, and we're going to really take this bill seriously, because we did it first. To be honest, we didn't think there's no way they would move this bill like they have. But it's so far it's been a straight party line vote, and so we're going to do everything we can to stop this bill. But we just want to let, as you know, have been reporting that on this bill, we want to make sure that people at home know what the Tennessee legislature is about to do to poor children in this state. And the colleagues want to say something?
I do want to say something. Coming from a district that has a high level of free and reduced lunch, a district that has a high level of benefits being received, I think that it is important that we really take a good look at this legislation and see where we can slow it down and stop it, because my district will be greatly affected by it. We're also dealing with, and you have to factor this in, we're also dealing with an issue of schools that have been deemed subpar in my district also, and my district houses some of the achievement school district as well. And if you factor all of that in, and you got failing schools, and you have children on free or reduced lunch, and you have a high level of benefits being received in the district, and so you're looking at basically my district that will be affected by the reduction of these benefits because of either a sub-performing school possibly, or a child, like my colleague said, with a learning disability, or any factors. And then here's the last thing that we should look at, and that we should make sure that we pay attention to. What about those children that are not in school? Those children, those younger siblings of the children that are in school. These children will also be affected, and other family members will be affected by the reduction of these benefits due to this legislation as well.
Go ahead, Gloria.
I have gotten an overwhelming number of emails and telephone calls from teachers, principals, the clergy, and parents who are very, very concerned about this bill. And as a healthcare professional, I understand that the award that is presented to families who do qualify for a TANF grant, for a family of 3, it averages about $182 per month. Now, understand that this award is limited to 60 months during a lifetime. So that's not a lot of money. And so I am very concerned about that. If you compare what we do for the businesses, anytime you award people money, funding, and they are not working for that, then I consider that welfare. And we have some corporations that have received billions of dollars in support. Tennessee was listed as having awarded $1.8 billion last year, and some of these corporations receive incentives and awards for 20 to 30 years. And so why would you not be more considerate of our families? This is very incompassionate, and I'm very concerned about that, along with most of us. It isn't the right thing to do. So we should not do this. We've been ostracized throughout the country for even considering something this disingenuous.
Again, as an educator with at-risk kids, especially probably for more than 20 years, I know that this is going to affect the kids that I teach, and it's going to affect them in a negative way. I know people like to think that this does put the burden of the family budget on a child. It may not be specifically earmarked dollars for food, but when you've got a family on a tight budget and a family that's struggling, food, light bill, those are the things that are going to get affected, and there's no way to get around that. And there's no way to get around when you see a kid in class, when their family is struggling, maybe a parent's out of work, maybe a parent's got a long-term illness. That kid feels that struggle, feels the stress of the family, and it does affect their grades. So we're talking about even making that stress on that child worse. And it's not a good plan. I understand what they're trying to do, but that's not going to be what this bill accomplishes. And it's also stressful to me that we're putting a penalty on poor families whose kids don't do well. What are we doing to the middle class families and the upper class families whose kids aren't doing well? Potentially the person who's carrying the bill in the house gets a farm subsidy. We're willing to attach your farm subsidies to your children's progress. I mean, why are we only punishing one group? This bill can be damaging to children, and I think we really need to look at what we're doing.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions?
Just,